think motor racing has got so much more appealing. The base of the pyramid has got so much bigger. There are more categories going up, more intensity, and that means that getting to the top pinnacle level of Formula One has never been harder. So I think that's obviously a huge, a huge achievement.
Yeah, I remember first day karting, nagging you to have a go, and got in it. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, proper karting. And yeah, I mean, I obviously knew all the Formula One stuff growing up with it, and knew how cool everything was. But yeah, at that point, you think it's a distant dream. So feels like we've come a long way.
I can actually remember not just the racing karting, but when you were, I think, about 3 or 4, and I brought back one of the old corporate carts from Bruntingthorpe, a proper grown-up cart, and somehow we fixed the seat up so you could have a go, and you were little tiny at the front of this thing.
Yeah.
And we let you go around the drive, and within about 10 laps, you were opposite locking it around by the stables. Can you remember that at all?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was my first time ever at the wheel of anything, and I loved it. That was great, that little cart. And that was probably when I guess I had the passion for it.
I mean, I'd always said to you that we're not going to even look at doing anything in Formula One until you won the GP2 championship, and if you don't, we won't. Did you feel, was that a pressure, was that an incentive?
I knew that I had to win GP2, and especially by the time I was winning it, it was my 4th year, and the only way of doing it was to stand out. So I mean, you never put any pressure on me, to be honest, because I'd put pressure on myself.
When I started Formula One, all we had was a car. We had no data recording. We used to go out, we used to thrash around, do a whole lap in 1 minute 27.3 or whatever it was. And if the guy went quicker by 3/10, we'd just try to go harder everywhere. At Tyrrell, we had 70 people. At Renault F1, you got nearly 500. The level of understanding and complexity of the whole thing is so much that I frankly have got little idea about any of the detail to make any relevant comment.
Yeah, and if you tried to tell me something, you'd probably as well with it. So I'm just, I mean, your era was pretty vintage. Back in the 80s when it was racing some old school machinery, nothing too complex, but you just jump in and just rag it round as best you could and see where you end up. Now it's a lot more complicated, a lot more intense in terms of the attention to detail and everything. When I'm in the car, I could have a sneeze and almost an engineer back at base would say, well, hang on, what's that? There's a little spike in something. Where it's, there's nowhere to hide.
I had huge determination and was very detailed technically. But I think you've got more natural flair, and the kind of overtaking you're doing in GP2 to carve your way from last on the grid at Monza up to P8 and then take a win the next day wasn't the sort of thing I could have done. How do you think we compare?
I'm not going to argue with that. That sounds all right. It's a bit more natural flair. I know I never saw, obviously, you stopped racing before I was born, so it's only looking through old stuff. And to be honest, what you've told me before. So I know that you're quite a meticulous person, so I can understand that you'd be an absolute nightmare for some engineers just because of the attention to detail that you put into kind of everything in life, really, but also the driving side. I can imagine you working till stupid o'clock in the evening to try and make sure everything was perfect.
For me, it's a huge achievement. For you and for me too, you getting to Formula One. You know, it's been a long journey. The ultimate destination has been clear as an ambition, but whether or not you get there, there are a load of things in the way. I'm certainly extremely proud of you. And I think the most important thing for me, for you, for this year, your first year of Formula One, is just to do everything possible in the way that I used to, in your driving and how you handle it all, to get the very best out of this great opportunity with Renault F1, and then hope things will unfold and develop from there.
That's how it goes. And this is just the start. Many years to come.